Hello, everyone. How are you doing? We're back.
Hello.
Hey.
Streaming on multiple channels today.
Woohoo.
If it's all gone correctly.
We'll find out.
It's actually streaming nowhere.
Yeah, just talking to ourselves. Got
Hey,
May
there's
in the
some
chat
people.
as well. Hey, May, how are you doing?
Hey May, we were hoping to have
Hey.
May on, but I guess her voice isn't
Yeah.
up to
Gotta
snuff.
protect-
Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah. Hope you feel better next time. So you can join in. How's everyone doing? Let us know.
Very cool. Very good.
Good.
Getting ready for
Unscathed.
Q4. I
Yeah.
mean, we're in Q4, but the real Q4.
I'm experiencing some Q4 right now. It's pretty good.
June is early to it.
Yeah, Halloween's
That's
the
actually
best.
the first thing we want to talk about. Let us know in the chat if you've seen an increase in sales yet from Q4, or if it's still pretty much the same. Because
Mine seems to
October
be a
is
very slow ramp until that
Yeah.
second week in November, and then it just kind of or end of the first week of November, it just seems to skyrocket.
Mhm.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Somebody asked in the
POD
chat
mug.
what my mug says, so I got to show off that I'm a stay-at-home plant mom.
Nice.
That
Did
was
you
like
make
5
that?
seconds. I was called out on that. So
Did you make it? Is that a POD?
no, I didn't, but it's a cute design. It
Yeah.
worked for sure.
Yeah, could work on shirt as well. So the first thing we wanted to talk about today is everyone's best day of the year,
Ooh,
because Q4 doesn't mean gut sales every single day, right? It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
And Juna is actually killing it right now.
Yeah.
What's your best day, Juna, typically?
Usually October 24th, the week before Halloween. So
That would be equivalent of like in the next couple of days, right?
yeah, this week
Usually.
is like crazy
Yeah.
Halloween week right now. Everybody's scrambling trying to get all their Halloween t-shirts, which is awesome, from Amazon. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
So you get more sales in October than you do during December.
Usually, yeah. We'll see this year how it pans out. There was one year where November and December beat October, but for most of the time that I've been on Amazon, October has beat November or December. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, we've got someone here that's had a lot of success with breast cancer awareness. That's
Nice.
interesting.
Is that October? Is that the month?
Mhm.
We were
think
thinking
so, yeah.
October. Yeah, absolutely.
Our best day is normally either, like Black Friday weekend does well because we just start sending a ton of emails. Last year we're going to send like close to twice as many this year.
Whoa.
So
Nice.
because
That's
I had
gonna be
always
huge.
been like very hesitant. I was like, oh, I don't know if, I don't want to bother people. Then
Don't
if you
wanna be
really
spammy.
look at like what other brands are doing, like they're just blasting everybody.
Plastic.
And
Oh,
it's like people are just used to it. So
Yeah.
like on Black Friday, we're gonna be sending out at least 2, probably 3, and doing the same Cyber Monday
Yeah.
and like for 3 weeks leading up to it. Because Black Friday actually falls in the last week of we have one less week of the holiday shopping season
Really?
this year.
Whoa.
Yeah. But then
So
our
much.
actual peak day it's either December 13th or 14th, right up until the shipping cutoff deadline.
That makes
But
sense.
then after that, we just switched to like selling gift cards and like digital products. But
Yeah.
that day is normally the highest point of the year.
People are last minute shoppers, man. They like wait,
Mhm.
but I think you're right at sending a bunch of stuff Black Friday because people are looking for the deals on Black Friday and looking for the deals on Cyber Monday. So
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's a great time where you can get away with like giving out discounts without
Mhm.
discrediting your brand because
Mhm.
people they're looking for it. It's not
Yeah.
they're not seeing you as a discount brand for running a sale on Black Friday. It's pretty normal.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess no one's going to call you spammy for sending emails on Black Friday because
Mhm.
that's literally what everyone is doing.
Yeah.
And you're just helping the customers out in a sense. Interesting because for me on Amazon last year it was the 10th of and the 10th or 11th of December, so a few days early. I don't know if the cutoff was that early last year. I don't know, but after that it dropped
Mine-
down.
It's interesting. Mine's exactly a week later. My record day was December 17th last year,
Oh, really?
2023, on Amazon merch. Yeah.
Cool.
I think, do you like some people preach turning off all your ads once December 10th hits or what after that first week of December or at least scaling back? I tend to let them run right up until the 20th, like full pop, because people buy late Christmas gifts all the time. And it seems like my sales have continued to ramp up until just after Christmas, like Boxing Day in Canada and whatever the 26th. Do you guys,
Oh.
what's your ad strategy there? Do you guys pull back? Sorry to get right into the thick of things here, but
I do usually pull
I
back
do too.
as soon as the date says,
Yeah.
delivers late.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't turn them off, but I'll just turn the budgets down to
Yeah.
maybe $1, a couple bucks, just to kind of get through that for turn of the first year, and then I'll kind of re-optimize for post Q4. But I think people, there's the cutoff, right? That it's shipped to, but there's definitely people that still shop after that from like gift cards, and a lot of people celebrate Christmas not on the 25th. Like family gatherings. Like I've celebrated Christmas on New Year's.
yeah,
So
totally.
there's definitely still some money to be made there in that window. After the ship date.
This print on a man cancer looks like a League of Legends.
That's a compliment. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And someone said today's hat day. We were literally joking about that before we went live. We pressured Chris into putting on a hat.
I got peer pressured into wearing a hat.
Terrible, right?
There's been worse things, right?
But yeah, my Black Fridays tend to do really good in terms of sale numbers as well, but the royalties are always a lot higher on like the last few days in December, that shipping time. I don't know if that's the same for you guys, because Black Friday is definitely a strong day.
It's a strong day.
Yeah, royalties are lower.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've been talking about this a lot with our community, like getting ready for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's like people put there's like a lot of hype and pressure around Black Friday for like some valid reasons, like it's biggest sales time of the year. But especially this is like your first season selling. Like the most important thing is like continue doing all the things you're already doing. Don't let it like throw off your game plan entirely. Because when you do that, when you just stick to like doing the reps of like the important stuff, and you keep doing more of that, Black Friday each year just gets sweeter and sweeter for you. As you've like build up your catalog of designs, you're still gonna be able to sell those same designs this year, next year, and 5 years from now. Obviously, there might be some like trends that might go out of style, but by and large, and then on like for us, like our email list, it just compounds every year. So it just gets better and better. And like I think it just comes down to like viewing the business as a long-term game. Not like none of us are doing this for like 2 to 3 months. Like we're all picturing it 3-5 years down the road. And so just not making it a stressful time of year, and it like having fun with it, realizing that if it's not, if you're not seeing the record sales that you're hoping for this year, like there's always next year and the year after that. And that's been, as I've switched my point of view from like, oh, I need as many sales today as possible to what can I do to drive sales over the next year or 2 years? It's just served really well.
Yeah. I think that's important, not to compare your year 1 to somebody's year 5 or 10 or, whatever. Cause a lot of us that are sharing have been doing this for a while. So it's going to be really hard to do the same. I mean, there are unicorns out there that do have some fantastic year 1s, but year 1's going to be tough, or not as good as year 2 and 3 and 4 and so on.
I think that message Chris just shared is important for after Q4 as well, like the January slump, right? That's when I think most people feel really demotivated and stop doing the daily tasks and sticking to the routine. I'm always really hyped up during Q4 to like push out more designs, because you can easily upload something and it sells tomorrow. It kind of makes it a lot more exciting. But then when the sales go from like the peak to the lowest time of the year, that's when it gets depressing. But again, like even what you upload in January is going to help you out for next Q4, unless it's some random trend. Unless there's someone in the chat who's got a really good January, has got some secrets to share.
Yeah, January on Shopify is actually like not bad because the CPMs drop like dramatically. It's definitely lower, but
Mhm.
like all the big companies have like their giant Q4 marketing budgets that they're just going to spend regardless. So CPMs, which is just basically like the cost of the competition, skyrockets. But fortunately, like people are just buying a ton more, so it offsets. But then Q1, like literally January 1st, it's just jumps off a cliff. People are also buying less, but ad costs, like in previous years, have been close to half. So you're able to drive traffic a lot cheaper and like still do pretty well if you're just like thinking about it the right way.
I get a lot of sales. Oh, sorry. I get a lot of sales in January for motivational stuff, New Year's and things like that, gym stuff. So yeah,
I was going to say
Valentine's.
the same type of thing for the first week of January or so too. I still seem to have some steady sales there, but the second week it just jumps off a cliff. But I just wanted to touch on what Chris had said earlier in terms of like the the Black Friday, that whole weekend. I would even go more broad on that and just say the whole Q4 thing, right? There's so much hype and there's so much pressure we put on ourselves, especially as new sellers. And like, there's no logical reason to think that if you haven't sold anything in the last 6 months, that all of a sudden you're going to magically start selling stuff, right? Realistically speaking, if you've gotten some kind of steady sales throughout, the first 9 months of the year, then it stands to reason that those sales could be amplified or magnified through Q4, right? It's just the nature of the beast. But if you haven't figured out how to sell to your particular audience, there's no reason to think there's this switch that just flips and then all of a sudden you're making sales, right? For me, I like to preach basically like to try to continue to work on the evergreen stuff. Typically, you can have some seasonality in there if it makes sense for your niche, but I would say like to try to make designs that you hope to sell in February, in June, in the slow months, right? Focus on those so that when those times come around, you don't have those massive like fall off a cliff valleys that Q1 can be, right?
100%. And even like during Q4, like I always like anecdotally, I'd be like, oh, it's Christmas is coming. And this is Shopify over here for everybody watching. So like it's different by platform, but I would be like, oh, Christmas and holidays are coming up. I need to switch all of our design team over to making just Christmas designs. Like that's all that people are buying. And then finally this past year, I looked at the data and realized actually like nobody was really buying that. Like look at our top 20 bestsellers in like peak Christmas season. Like number 18 was sort of Christmas related. The rest were just our rest of the year bestsellers.
Bestsellers through the first 9 months, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense because like if you're picturing people are buying a lot of gifts, if I'm going to buy like my friend a gift or a t-shirt, am I going to buy them something that they could wear for the next 2 weeks? Or am I going to buy them something that they'll like year round and like really resonates with them? Like you're going to buy the year round gift every time. Now there's some people that'll buy like the ugly Christmas sweater thing for like parties and stuff, that kind of theme. But at least for me moving forward, I'm putting way less emphasis on like seasonal designs. Still do some, but realizing now that it's like 80-20, 100%.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Makes
for sure. Because people get distracted by that, I think, focusing too much on like Christmas themed, Halloween themed designs. By the way, I saw a comment saying we can't see your questions. We can definitely see your questions. We usually chat about some general topics first, and then we do a Q&A. And we'll also do some shop reviews later. So I've just posted a link in the chat with a Google document. And
wow, I'm throwing out like general stuff, and then Juna's in there saying, I sell 63% standard shirts, 20%. All right, I'm done talking. You're
Amazon makes it easy to do that. I'm not like, I just went to my tab and just like,
yeah.
So
yeah,
See,
don't forget about the hoodies. Hoodies are good.
Yeah, because somebody asked if they. Oh, sorry, but somebody asked if I do more hoodies than t-shirts. But actually, Q4, even though it's cold, still more t-shirts. So go ahead, Chase. Sorry,
people still wear t-shirts under the hoodies.
Yeah.
I'm 97% t-shirts.
Whoa, that's even better. That's cool.
At least for last year's stats, anyway.
Yeah, these were last year's stats. Q4.
Right. Then another thing I wanted to ask everyone is what's your favorite part of POD? Is it Q4? Or is it like a specific aspect of it?
I love that I can, because I'm a designer by trade. I've been designing for a long time, and you hear about the starving artists and all of this stuff, and I'm just so glad that I found a place that I can use my art to make money and support my family and things like that. So that's been the greatest blessing for me, is to I don't do freelance, I don't do any of that stuff, but I put all my all my design stuff into POD, which one makes me feel happy because I can design, and two, it actually pays off. So
yeah, it shows as well. If people watching haven't seen the Detour Design with Detour challenge yet, it shows how passionate you are about design. Those designs are awesome.
thanks. AI helps for sure.
It's not all AI.
You can't really follow up
mix.
Juna. Like, I was going to talk about the scalability of the business
No,
model.
man,
After
Chris,
he's talking about fulfillment and like,
That's it. Next topic.
yeah, like, that's tough. But yeah, my less wholesome response is that I've done like 3PL and drop shipping and different businesses, especially 3PL. Like, we had a yoga brand that started off as print on demand, and then I had the brilliant idea of like, oh, now we're going to sell yoga mats, so I'll just find a supplier and then switch to a warehouse and spin up a global supply chain. I hear that's easy, and no, it took me away from like the part of the business that I love the most, which was like making the designs, just making really good products, and I love the marketing. And it switched it to entirely like 90% of my headspace was about, how do I find new suppliers? Where's our shipment? Oh, it's currently in the middle of the ocean. Oh, it got stopped by customs. All things that are solvable for other businesses. But for me personally, I just love the simplicity of print on demand and how scalable it is, and how you're able to like keep your focus on like the really creative and fun parts of the business.
Absolutely.
What is this comment? I heard Adam asked ChatGPT to analyze your hat choices, and Chris won.
Chris, nice.
It's
last minute
Bucky.
entry, and still won. Nice. What is it?
If anybody's
Bucky's.
from Texas, it's a gas station.
Yes, I love Bucky's.
Yeah, we just got our first one in Florida like last year. It's
Congrats.
Man, if you guys haven't seen just imagine a gas station, but 100 times as big.
Yeah.
Everything. It's like literally like a,
maybe bigger.
Yeah, it's like a Walmart gas station, or I don't know how you describe it, but it's just
like the average gas station has like 10, maybe 15 pumps.
Yeah.
We were at a Bucky's and we asked the somebody working there how many pumps there were. It was 150, and she said that they were one of the smallest Bucky's.
Yeah.
She's like, there's some that are 250. I'm like,
the bathrooms in there
like,
are amazing too.
Yeah, they also have like full I mean, the one here in Daytona has like full buffet. I mean, you go in and get like shopping department store, you get outfits, you can get a grill, you can get
a mascot.
Walmart.
They have a mascot that walks around. People take pictures.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
So it's like Chuck E. Cheese. Did you guys ever have a Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah,
it's like that. It's bigger
huge.
Though. It's bigger. Just
huge.
So people go to the gas station on a weekend, like that's your thing.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Wow. And some good food, and the bathrooms just are amazing.
Yeah,
like they're not gas station bathrooms. These are like high class bathrooms. It's weird. I geek out about that.
Mental note: bathroom check.
Yeah, go to the bathroom and check it out.
I took a screenshot of Philip's face as his print on demand council is spiraling into talking about gas stations.
Was it as good as Juna's?
Yeah, I was just thinking, how did this go from favorite part of POD to bathrooms at a gas station?
No, it's I
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
my favorite part of POD on that segue away from gas station bathrooms on Friday nights, but I think there's a few favorite parts that just kind of add up to this whole overarching thing, and it's not as necessarily technical as Chris's, or not as just wholesome as Juna's, but it's a little bit of everything. I think it's like I enjoy doing what I do, and I get to make money at it. That's just a bonus. I get to do what I like, and I get to make a living. I also get to help people who've never done this, and we all kind of do that, right? In some capacity, like get to help people go from zero to making sales. And then personally being selfish about this is I get to travel, wherever we want. My wife and I and our dog, where right now, while we have him, we're kind of limited because he's a massive animal. But once we no longer have him in time, we'll also be able to just get on a plane with a backpack with no kids or any other attachments, and you just pop up, open a laptop, and work from anywhere. You're not sacrificing your time. You're not asking a boss for time off only to get maybe yes or no. You're not waiting in kind of line for like if you based on seniority who gets what breaks when, and getting screwed with the crappy weather and whatnot. Yeah, it's the freedom, I guess, is in one word to sum it up. The freedom, I think. And it's not just some crazy word to throw around, man. It's like, it's real. It's kind of liberating in so many ways.
For sure.
Yeah, you don't have clients to answer to, in a sense. Obviously we have to adhere to some rules and stuff with the marketplaces, but because it's not service based, I think that gives you a lot of freedom. You can do the work whenever. Like it doesn't matter if you upload your designs at 5 a.m. or at midnight. It's totally up to you, and you can take the work with you everywhere. It's awesome for sure. What about you, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys kind of hit all the major marks, right? The freedom that you get, right? The creative elements. One thing I'll throw in is the networking, kind of Jay just talked about, but like, getting to chat with you guys, getting to chat with other people that are somewhere on their journey. Like I've made friends, I've made a lot of connections. I've gotten help in my business from, just networking in the space. So I really like that. But, for me, it's the POD kind of gave me the opportunity to like start a real business for very little. And I can't think of a lot of other businesses out there that you can start can start as a side hustle, but actually grow into your full-time income or even exceed that, right? And really create a lot of freedom for you. And the POD model is it's still incredible to me. Like the whole, how it all works. Like I've done more of the like physical inventory stuff and private label stuff like Chris was talking about. That stuff gets complicated and it gets exhausting, and there's a lot more, sort of problem solving. But with POD, creating designs and putting them up and the fulfillment side of, usually being outsourced or being handled by whatever marketplace, like it makes it really easy to operate and run a business. Not easy, but the entry, right? If someone's willing to put in the work and work hard enough, you can start a business here in your home or on your phone and travel. And so, that's been a blessing and something that I think is hopefully never going to get old. I mean, it's fantastic that we can work from home or remotely and sort of be our own boss, steer the ship. So that's the most important part to me, for sure.
Chris always says he's living the dream, but I think that is living the dream, like being able to work from wherever, whenever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Are we all doing this full time? I know I just started, but are you guys doing that full time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're late to the party, Juna.
I am late to the party. Glad to be here, though.
I've noticed we've got over 200 viewers, which is a lot more than usual, I think. So to everyone who's new to this, Juna, you've got you're getting 60 people joining in,
Nice.
which is awesome. So anyone who's new to this, if you've never watched it, essentially we do it every few weeks. The guests can be different. Like we've got a pool of guests, and we talk about some general current like POD topics. Like at the moment it's Q4. Then we do a Q&A. So we'll answer some of your questions in the chat. I've been favoriting some of these to save them. Then we do some shop reviews. So you can submit your Etsy store, your Shopify store. It could be TeePublic, Redbubble. It doesn't matter. I'll put the link to that in the chat again. And then at the end, we go over some like personal questions as well and topics. And sometimes we talk about gas stations. So.
And their bathrooms. Yeah.
Exactly. So
do a search.
If that's not enough reason to come back, I don't know. But yeah, let's look at some of your questions. Now's the time to ask. I'll look at some of the ones I saved earlier. Someone asked a Shopify question.
Oh, here you go, Chris.
Is it possible to add the add to cart option later on in my Shopify store? Don't you need that from the start?
Yeah, like later on time-wise, like in your setup, or you mean later on in your funnel?
That's a good question.
But yeah, if you're talking time-wise, you definitely need that. It should be from the very start.
Okay, we'll see if he clarifies that. Maybe it's just a misworded question.
I think the AI question is cool. I think there's a bunch. Is graphic designer still needed in this era full of AIs? Could probably answer that.
Oh yeah, I saw that one as well. Let's talk about that then. Is graphic design still needed in this era full of AIs? Are they replacing designers?
I think it's still needed. Yeah, absolutely. The graphic designer that knows how to use AI is probably going to do a great deal more because it's a tool that can help do your designs faster. But I don't think, like, even a traditional graphic designer, like a lot of these brands that I follow on Twitter and Redbubble, they do their stuff by hand. They don't use AI, and they're still competing. They're still getting lots of sales. But so I don't think it's going to replace. I think a lot of people like to use AI as an excuse, maybe because they're like, "Oh no, it's saturated again." It's but it's a tool, man. It can help, and you don't need it, but it definitely can help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like drawing by hand has not been replaced by Adobe Illustrator or Procreate. It still exists, and people still do it.
Yeah,
and there's still people paying money for it. It changes the ratio a bit, maybe, but
like basic design principles, I think you need to know, right? You need to know how to lay out different elements. I think AI is going to give you it's pulling from a million and one sources and kind of spit out based on what you're putting in there. But if you're also conversely using bits and pieces and trying to make this composition, then good for you also. But it's very easy to over design if you don't know, and I think you need to know more about graphic design the more stuff you add, so that it doesn't look too busy or too much like a 6-year-old collage kind of thing, right? Keep it simple, but yeah, I think like the basic things like contrast and hierarchy in design and typography, those are the basic elements of graphic design. And I think if you can at least learn those to like a really amateur level, at least you'll be way ahead of the competition that way. You're just kind of like copying or doing things and not understanding why. So yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah, it's just too much that matters that way.
Yeah, I see it evolving into, or maybe it's already getting there. I see it being in like the same class as like a Canva. How it's not like Canva is going to be replacing your graphic designer. It's just going to be like a tool that designers become proficient in using and will have its place. I mean, picturing 5-10 years out, it's really hard to say. Like anybody who's guessing where AI will be in 10 years has no idea. I have no idea. I can safely say that. Like even the guys, and people like designing the AI and engineering it, even they have guesses, but so it's so hard to say when you look out far enough into the future. But I think it's pretty safe to say like 6, 12 months, 18 months from now, at least where I see it, is just within the class of like a Canva tool where super useful, can do a lot of really helpful things. And, but it won't be putting designers, out of use or anything. We still use designers with like some of our more complicated designs.
Yeah, you can't do everything with AI, right? And I'm sure your designers probably use a mixture of something like Canva and AI tools, probably, right?
Yeah.
And I just literally hired a designer as well who does exactly that. They use a combination of Illustrator and some of the AI tools like Flux, Ideogram. And yeah, I think anything that makes the process of like putting what's in your mind into like a visual thing, if there's anything that makes that easier, that's a good thing in my opinion.
And I would say caution on using AI just to pump out 1,000 designs that nobody wants to wear, right? So make sure to use AI wisely. It's not just this thing that you can just click a button and create tons of stuff and put it online and people are going to start buying, because you still need to make a design that people want to buy and wear and things like that. So
that's a key at the end of the day, right? You got to make stuff that people want.
Yeah, if you're not, then you just have an art project, which is awesome if you're looking for a hobby. But if we're just making stuff that we ourselves really like, then that's an art project and not a business. And something that we've, building on what you guys are saying, something we've observed looking at like the most successful students versus people who just like try their best but end up, it doesn't go their way. There's a lot of reasons for that, obviously, but one interesting trend that we've noticed is that the people that have the most success, they have the shortest amount of time from when they decide that they're starting a print-on-demand business to when they are launching and testing their very first designs. So like on Shopify, that's like launching your first low budget testing campaign. For like Etsy or Merch by Amazon, it's like getting your first listings up, just getting all the way through that process and kind of like getting out of your head to a certain extent. And I think a lot of that comes down to recognizing the fact that I don't know what people are going to want. The only way that I do know what they want is by putting it in front of them and seeing what they vote with their wallet to show me that they actually want. And I think when people like spend 2, 3, 4 months just making designs and just, which is great, it's a skill you should always be continuing to improve, but if you do that in a vacuum with no feedback from the market, you're kind of you're doing a disservice to yourself, because it's very easy for us to like get in our heads and not, you just get through it, get your first designs up, get to market as quickly as possible. And that's been the trend that leads to the most success.
Yeah,
I agree.
Done is better than perfect, right? Get them up there, get them sorted, and then listen to your customers, right? Like based on what's being purchased, that's where you can kind of pivot in that direction, or at least like put more of your focus in that direction, do more of what's working. If customers ask you for specific requests for customizations or for a different product, that's where you listen, right? Like if you just start listening to what's working. But don't worry about making that perfect design. It's like, waiting for the perfect time to have children, or waiting for the perfect time to retire from your job, or, it's never going to happen, right? There's always going to be something that pops up. I totally agree with what Chris is saying there. Like just get the people, same thing. Like the people I see, are the ones that are taking action the fastest. Like the shortest time spent between making a decision and then taking action is always going to win.
I agree. I think there are some people that I hear that they put like 100, 200 designs on there and don't get any sales. And that also can be something to look at. Like, okay, so if those didn't work, then make some changes, right? That's still data that you're not getting sales. So try something different.
That kind of relates to what this person has been commenting. So they said, first time tuning in, started uploading on Redbubble and Teespring. I've only had a handful of sales of about 100 designs on Teespring, 0 on Redbubble. How to stay motivated to create. And in a different comment, they said, it's been about 6 months.
Yeah.
So first of all, what I would say to that is it's common that the first few months that you upload and create designs that you barely get any sales, but also the potential on those marketplaces that you've mentioned is fairly low. At least from my experience. I know Teespring used to be good, I think, back in the day, but now I think if you only trying to get organic traffic, it's almost impossible to get sales, right?
Yeah, Redbubble's tough. Teespring even tougher, I imagine. Redbubble's like really good for stickers. So if you're designing great stickers, t-shirts, okay too. But yeah, it's tough out there, man.
How to stay motivated to create. The results with POD are usually delayed. It's even for me, like if I upload new designs now, they rarely start selling within a week. If that ever happens, it's quite a fun moment. If you get a sale within the first day or the first week. This is with like organic sales, right? But how do you stay motivated? You have had a few sales, so I would look at those designs and figure out what can you do that's similar to those designs that have sold, or can you upload more to that niche if that's what's been working. But I would definitely say expand or try and expand to other platforms.
Other things that keep me motivated is like when I share on social media and can get some good feedback from people. Like you can send out stuff like, I'm working on this, what do you think? And that can be motivating too, just to hear back on either Facebook or what is it? Instagram is something that I use as well. So it's not, you don't always have to get sales to be motivated, although that is a good motivator, but I think there's other ways to keep motivated as well.
I think that's a great point too. You said about like the social media, right? Like you can't always just join a Facebook group and drop your links to your stuff because it violates group rules. But what you can do is offer 2 potential iterations of a design you're working on, solicit feedback from the people in that niche or that group. They're going to feel vested in the design, listen to them, make changes. And then some of them, if you come back with the design changes, are going to ask where they can get it. Right. And that's just the nature of that beast. And I think it's, an easy win that way. But you also, to Philip's point and Juna's points is to delay gratification that way. Right. This isn't something like if you're looking on a day over day stats, look at least at your month over month or your year over year, compare yourself to the previous, quarter even, and measure your progress that way. I think if you're, trying to get sales based on a certain upload number, you're setting yourself up for failure right away. I don't think there's a particular number you need to hit to see, all of a sudden, sales happening. Kind of like hitting Q4 doesn't inherently mean you're going to all of a sudden start making sales. But I think the biggest one is if you can, second to delaying gratification and just think long term where you want to be in a year and work backwards, is have fun. Like stay motivated by doing something you enjoy. What are the elements of the design process you enjoy? What are the elements of, you're getting your feet wet in e-commerce that you enjoy? Focus on those and celebrate the tiny wins, like getting your first 10 listings up, right? Like those are wins, especially for somebody who's, starting from scratch. When you got like 130 or 200 and you're measuring these timelines and you're saying, well, for some reason you're under the impression that just because you've now crossed 100 listings up that you expect to get sales. I don't think that's a realistic, unfortunately it isn't realistic for everybody, right? If people know what they're doing and you've got, and you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from some sort of experience, then maybe, that would play a little bit more into it. But if you're starting from scratch, there's no reason to think that, just because you hit a certain number that I think you'll hit sales. But have fun. I think that's the biggest one.
And similar to the delay gratification thing, the thing that motivates me more than anything, like in those down periods where you feel like you're putting in a lot of effort and getting little in return, like the inverse of what Philip was saying earlier, like during the Q4, it's easy to be motivated. It's like you can very easily picture 1 unit of like 1 hour of my time will likely result in X number of sales because the feedback loop is way shortened compared to normal entrepreneurship in general. It's like super delayed, like the classic example, the marshmallow test. But the thing that gets me through the most, like the valley period, is just remembering, like we all talk about competition and how it's getting more crowded and AI is like commoditizing it. And like the ultimate barrier to competition is like the effort that it takes. And keep in mind that period you're going through where you're making the designs, you're doing your best, you feel like you're showing up every day, putting in the work, but not seeing the results yet. Every single person who's going to potentially compete with you and take away market share has to go through that exact same thing. So your mantra, or my mantra that has helped me a lot, is this feeling of what I'm going through right now is exactly the point that other people turn around. And that's exactly why when I push through this, I'm going to end up winning, is that people will not be willing to pay the cost. And it's a good thing in a way, because if it was super easy, if it was, the lowest barrier to entry is click a button, do nothing, and you make money, then everybody would be doing it. Then there's no barrier to entry. Then the market becomes flooded, and then supply surpasses demand. The opportunity goes away. But so in a way, the struggle you're going through is a good thing, and it's the only reason that the opportunity exists in the first place.
Yeah, totally agree. Can I had one more thing. I would say to help, like I do, what I do to help with motivation is I kind of concentrate on the things that I can control. So I can control my uploads. I can control my posts. I can control those kinds of things. And so I kind of base my motivation off of that too. So because you can't really control sales. I mean, you can help with it, but you never know if you're going to get 100 or 200 or whatever it is. But you can control how many things you upload or how many things you post and things like that. So I would say that helps me with motivation. Like I'm going to post or I'm going to upload this many today, and I check it off the list, and yay, I did it, so.
Awesome points. I was just looking at some of the
Yeah, that's a question.
shops that people have submitted. But yeah, very well said, Chris. I think probably like 80% of people, they stop in like the first 3 months when you're not seeing results. So a lot of the competition eliminates itself.
That's true.
Just last thing I'd add on that, because this really helped like make things click for me, is that every new opportunity that any person goes into, we all go through the period of uninformed optimism, where it's like, oh, this is great. Print on demand, so easy. I see people making this money. It's just t-shirts. Come on, like, why not? And then you get into it. You start actually going through whatever course materials. Then you go into the period of informed pessimism, where you're like, oh, wow, this is actually tough. There's work involved with this. And then you're like, all right, I'll see it through. Like, you still have the original vision of like what this could be. And that's where you go through like the valley. And you call this like the valley of testing, the valley of uploads. But the bottom line is that this is the barrier to entry. And that's where most people turn around, and then they just end up repeating the same cycle. So for everybody who's in that valley, just keep pushing through, because I can promise you that if you turn back now and like see some other shiny object or drop shipping, whatever it is, they all have that valley involved. So if you're not paying the price here, I guarantee it'll be somewhere else. And you've already started down this road, so you might as well see it through.
True.
I couldn't agree more. I would also, when you're saying see it through, stop trying to with the shiny object thing. Even if it's going to be another different niche shop or something like that, stop trying to open new shops all the time. Focus on one and get it to where it needs to be. We all have like 100% of our own energy or whatever we can donate to something or put into something, right? And as soon as you start having different avenues and different channels that you're trying to make work at the same time, you're never going to be able to fill any of those to 100%. I would again stress to pick one path and stick with it until you see results before branching out. And that's a big one. I wish I had known, because I started with like one general store, then my next one was a niche shop, then niche shop, then niche shop. Now you got a bunch of those, and a general store that kind of just peaks at Christmas, but then nothing else. But everything else is kind of pretty steady throughout the year. But it took forever to get them all to a level where, had I focused on one, we would have gotten there so much faster, and not giving up.
Agree. Yeah, I think that works with everything, business, all kinds of business included. Like stick with something long enough and get better and better, just 1% better every time. Eventually you'll get out of that valley of despair, or valley of whatever you called it, Chris. But yeah.
In the recent Merch by Amazon survey, what were your 3 new product suggestions? Has anyone done that?
Yeah,
I haven't done that yet.
I did it.
Okay, what did you suggest?
Go ahead.
I suggested, what did I say? I said trucker hats.
Nice.
Or just hats. I don't care, but some kind of POD hat. And then I said mugs, just regular old school coffee mugs. And then I said crop tops, only because my girlfriend has been asking me to make her crop tops POD, and I'm not on Etsy anymore. And she says those are popular, and she's like, man, those would crush it. And she's been telling me that for like 2 years. So that's what I put. And then for the comments or the suggestions, I kind of wrote a little thing and basically said, like, first of all, this is the first time I can remember in recent memory that merch has asked the sellers for like direct criticism or feedback, or, provide some criticism and feedback. So I said, like, first of all, thank you for, giving us an opportunity. And I said, I know that, speaking for myself and probably many others, we want to be more involved in that process of rolling out features or new products. Like, allow us to give you our feedback, because it's so valuable. We're the people on this side of the equation in the trenches. So, I'm not expecting to hear anything back, but I did put that, like, hey, thanks for asking, like, do this more often. This is very helpful. And like, keep this kind of dialogue going, because I think that's the best way they're going to be able to improve merch. We all know merch isn't perfect. No platform is. It's far from it. I know we all have tons of suggestions, but anyway, that's what I put.
Yeah.
It's a good
I think crop tops are in the works.
That's what somebody said. They auto upload it, but we don't have access to it, but they have it.
Yeah.
So
how the tumblers going? Has anyone had many Tumblr sales?
I've probably got 5 sales so far tumblers.
Maybe like
Not
10
bad.
or so for me.
Have you
I have
uploaded
none
some?
yet. I have none yet. I've only uploaded to like 3 designs to Tumblr so far,
Okay.
but I haven't run any ads or anything yet. But I intend to do that by the end of the month.
Ads. I didn't run any ads to tumblers.
Philip, where are you
Oh.
at? I know you've been
Yeah,
on the
Philip's the
Tumblr
guy.
Yeah,
grind.
I've been hammering them. So I have been getting more regular Tumblr sales. I had a good day yesterday with them. I
Nice.
think I had about 6 or 7 sales
That
yesterday.
is good.
But I am also
Alright.
running ads, so that probably helps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But yeah, they seem like a product that definitely has potential.
Yeah.
Like besides standard t-shirts, I don't sell that many hoodies, but I have started to sell quite a lot of tumblers.
Good.
That's cool. Yeah, I've sold some. I have both. I've sold tumblers with just the design on the front, and I've sold tumblers with both sides. So
Both
I
sides.
think
Same.
both could work. Yeah.
What sort of topics have sold for you? For me, it's mainly been stuff related to animals, location-based stuff, some
sold a-
hobbies.
Yeah, I sold a couple Halloween related ones. And I
Halloween.
sold
Oh yeah,
some
Halloween
other-
as well.
Yeah, I sold a couple that were like birthday, anniversary, kind of the scale designs. That's about it for me.
Generic sports stuff is doing well because football and baseball is
Oh.
doing up right now. So I get a bunch of those on top of Halloween. So that's why Halloween does so well for me, or October does so well for me, because you kind of have that overlap of.
I love the plant mom mug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Just in case
What-
anybody forgot.
Right.
What did you suggest, Juna, in that survey?
Oh, I did similar. I did mugs. I think mugs could do really well. I think I did hats, either hats or blankets. I forget. I wanted to do blankets like Printify has, and posters. I would love to see some like big posters. Hopefully, get some good returns on those, because I know on Redbubble you can get some returns on those and
You want
display them.
big margins, basically.
Big margin. I want
Yeah.
some bigger
That's
margins
smart.
for sure. Yeah, give me some $20
Yeah,
sale margins. And
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty depressing with the tumblers that you can only get like $3 max.
yeah, which is why I didn't push so hard on tumblers. Because if it was something that, well, I don't know, we'll see. But I wish the margins were bigger on tumblers for sure.
All right, let's see what else we got. Thanks to everyone for sending in questions. We've had loads more than usual. So I doubt we'll get through them all, but thanks to everyone who's joined and contributed. So here's an interesting one. So how do you handle your designs and even mock-ups getting ripped off?
Hate it.
Don't care.
Put a curse on them and then just move on. You know.
I usually report them to these big ones right here: Amazon, Redbubble, TeePublic, and if I find it on Etsy, I report them. But like if it's some knockoff POD site that I've never heard of, then I don't really care.
I mean, if they're making a lot less sales than you, there's a very slim to nil chance that they're going to be able to overtake your sales velocity regardless of the platform. So I think you're better time focused to I think it was Adam that said, is like focus on what you can control, right? What can you control? Or Juna said, create more designs, create better designs. If it's a listing or a mock-up photo that people have stolen, then maybe, take that as a insight that you're doing something right. Maybe there's sales velocity behind it. Make different iterations of that same design, A/B test with different mock-ups as well. Try to become your biggest competitor, and you're going to have all that insight, that data that they don't, as having stole your stuff. So like move forward, make better, make more.
I would say the only time where I would care to report things that are stolen is maybe if I'm in tier 10 on Amazon Merge, and that's like the only platform I'm currently on or have access to. Because then if you have a design that's sold and it's getting copied a lot, then maybe report it to the marketplace. But in most cases, if you've got hundreds of designs, thousands of designs out there, they will keep getting copied and copied even if you report them. So you can't really waste your time on that. It's not really worth it.
I'm like once a month, I think I'll go through and then I'll search and then I'll make a list, and then it's easy at that point to just kind of submit all to merch and submit all to Etsy, right? Etsy, you can do it with like having your own registered intellectual property. So they make it pretty easy to do too now. But yeah, definitely report your best sellers, right? Like that should go without saying.
Yeah.
But if it's not selling, I mean, they're ripping off stuff that is garbage as well. So, they're not going to sell more of it if you haven't already.
POD sites have said this over and over again. I've heard it years past that they would have some kind of AI thing that will catch copycats and then they'll tag them and move them off. But I just recently did one off of TeePublic. I went to the bestsellers, typed in the same thing and still copycats. Like they're not catching them. So it's crazy.
I feel like that would also just, you'd get your own designs caught in that AI trying to filter out copycats, and then your own stuff will get taken down. Yeah, that doesn't sound like something.
It should go by date though. If you put yours first, right, and then
it should do.
Amazon merch has been doing a massive sweep though in the last 2 weeks or so. Looking up some, just because I saw on one of the Facebook groups, somebody mentioned that I wasn't able to find any ripoffs of my best-selling design, and I went to search and I was like, wow, a lot of these accounts are gone. Yeah, they're all seeing the dogs now. So that's awesome.
That's cool.
Got a new question here. I'm an Etsy seller. This is my first Q4. Where do you put your Q4 details, like the last day to order or to get before Christmas? Obviously the announcement page, but do you do pics and description?
Good question.
I would definitely, the announcement page is good, but most people I think will miss that. I think the majority of people will only really look at your listing page. So I would put it ideally somewhere towards the top of your description. And if you can do it as well, add a little slide, like a picture to the actual mock-ups. I don't know if you can do that in bulk with like the Etsy system, but I know you can do it in bulk with My Designs, like add one picture to the listings. I'm not sure if you can delete it after, but yeah, the more obvious you can make it, the better, I would say. The announcement page is not really enough. What do you do, Jay?
I'm a little bit of a black sheep in this kind of thing. So I am an advocate for not putting any cutoff deadlines anywhere. Do not create friction where there otherwise would be none. People will buy. If you are looking at a shop, and this is the rationale, like if I'm looking at a shop that I want to buy from, and there's an alternative here, and I'm sure as heck not going to buy from the one that says I might not get it in time. I would rather kind of risk this shop who hasn't blatantly said that I could not come in time, right? Not to say that, shop A, that you still wouldn't get it in time, but just to, put out any kind of element of doubt when you're trying to create, consumer confidence or stuff like that. What I would do is if somebody reaches out to me and there's time, I would say, and never always commit 100%, because, I've had mail trucks catch on fire. I've had, not my own, but in the process, right? Like there's been accidents, there's been storms, there's been weather, all things you cannot control. What you can control is the customer expectation. So I would, if they hit me up and ask, there's a very good chance. So while you should get it in time, I cannot guarantee blah, blah, blah. And then, that's early in the process, but it should be there. You can throw a number like 90% chance if USPS or the Postal Service does their part. If it's, already past time and you definitely aren't going to be able to get them their product in time, then I would say, unfortunately, our Christmas cutoff has passed. That's it. Like they don't need a date. They don't need anything. But, there is still a chance that you can get it in time if it's on that cusp, but you can't guarantee. And then obviously if it's passed, I'm sorry, but, Christmas cutoff has passed, but it shouldn't be much later than, Christmas anyway. Just for the sake of putting these big red banners and telling people to stop buying at your shop is what I'm seeing. Don't buy from me is what I read when I see that. Don't buy from me after this day. That is probably one of the biggest mistakes I think people can do. I'll sell right through the second week of January. People celebrate Christmas late. They just want to know they're going to get their item without any actual delays. So to me, I stopped doing that about 3 years ago, and I seem to keep, my sales don't seem to trickle off until well past most people. So I think part of that is because you're literally putting it out there to stop buying from you at a certain point.
So your delivery estimate on Etsy that will say, arrives past Christmas, but you won't actually mention it anywhere in the description or in a mock-up image. Okay.
Yep. I'll just say, expect delays through holiday times and FAQs and stuff like that. Not just for Christmas cutoffs, but like weather and whatnot. But I'm always honest with the customer if they message me, but I wouldn't introduce the friction for no reason.
Yeah. No, that's really, really good point, I think.
And that's what I used to do. Banner that you talk about, Jay, is like it's the exact opposite on Shopify. I love adding the big banner with like a countdown timer because
for scarcity and urgency, for sure.
Exactly, yeah. And but it makes complete sense what you're saying, because then, like on those platforms, if I'm a customer, I see that, I'm like, oh, well, there's
choices,
a bunch of other options, dozens of options, just one back button away. So I'm like easily going to go there. But then for like pattern interrupt or like impulse buy, like marketing, for us, it's like you like this thing, you have to buy it now. Otherwise, like timer's going to expire and your opportunity goes away. So it like has the opposite effect.
Yeah. The caveat there, though, would be like once your timer has elapsed or expired, you remove that part of the carousel, right? It's not just sitting there saying, don't buy from us, it's too late.
No, we still leave it up and say, hey, just so you know, like it's gonna be like it won't arrive in time, to keep like refunds and stuff down. And then we just switch to like gift card offers, and then we build on it, like you're saying. Like people then see that and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna get it in time. We then do the flip side and turn it into like a deal, like a post Christmas deal, and say this is gonna arrive after, but because of that, you get XYZ discount plus gift cards.
That's a good idea. Nice.
That's cool.
Smart.
Interesting. And that's a good example, I think, to show as well that there's often different approaches to like the same problem, and they can work in their own ways. Like they have their pros and cons, but it's working for Jay and Chris, even though they're not really doing the same thing. I know it's different platforms, but
I'm sure if I was on a platform, I'd be doing exactly what Jay's talking about.
Yeah, it also mitigates all the customer interaction, right? Will I get it from this time? Will I get it from this time? It says no, but I ordered now. Like you're just kind of getting rid of the doubt entirely and letting people check out as fast as possible. Incentivize them, right? Like give them the sales. Like you still have the urgency and scarcity drivers that are built into Etsy that not dissimilar to what you have on Shopify. There's countdown timers in your cart. You can see that stuff. But yeah, just to introduce, any kind of elements of friction, I think is counterintuitive, really.
On Amazon, you don't have a choice, do you? It just says arrives after Christmas. That's it. You can't really decide.
But I mean,
it's pretty fast too.
If you can order on a Monday and have it in your mailbox on a Tuesday, those, a delay on Amazon is an extra business day or two, right? So,
they're fast.
That's true.
Yeah, lots of ways to win for sure. That's an interesting tactic from Chris too. It's smart with the giving them the it's almost like a preemptive apology that you're not going to get it in time. So here's something we'll offer you through January or something, or through the first week of Q1. Smart.
Pretty cool.
Someone asked, how can we access the previous councils? So they would be, most of them are on my channel as like recent videos, I guess. I think they just get classed as videos, or maybe it's in the live stream section. But they should be there somewhere. You can always watch back the old ones, and from now on they should be on most of the channels, because at the moment it's live streaming on Juna's, Jay's, and Chris's channel as well. So you can find them there too. All right. What else? Someone was asking before. Where was it? Oh, is it too late to work on Thanksgiving? Do you recommend creating Thanksgiving specific designs? We kind of touched on that earlier with like holiday specific designs, not to focus too much time on it. The majority of sales that we get around the November, December time is hobbies, occupations, animals, more giftable stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than wear once and then return.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot on Amazon, by the way.
I get so many returns.
Halloween, they rent the shirts.
They do. That's what I'm dreading. This, like, I'll have a really good, but my returns, usually my November, like after Halloween, is like a negative, because I get so many returns and less sales that it's like, shit, it's bad. That
Mine,
sounds good.
you have like minus royalty days.
I've had before minus royalty days because so many returns. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but Thanksgiving specific designs, I would say, yeah, it's like you said, make sure it's something that they could wear constantly, every day. It doesn't have to say Happy Thanksgiving. Something that you would wear to Thanksgiving, I think, would be great, like a Thanksgiving dinner. But I usually don't get that many Thanksgiving sales, to be honest, in comparison to Halloween. It's nice to put it out there, but it's not a big one for me.
Same.
I'd say there's definitely still enough time, right? It's still
Still enough time.
5 weeks out or something. So if you want to target people shopping for Thanksgiving, yeah, there's enough time to put up shirts.
Funny family dinner T-shirts, I think, do well for me for Thanksgiving, but I don't do a lot of them or sell a lot of them.
I would argue on Etsy, you're kind of, you missed the boat. I like to stay 60, 90 days out. Worst case, it's going to take them 90 days to figure out where to show you in search results on Etsy. But best case, you could get sales in a few hours. So, an average of that, 45 days, give or take. But again, I focus more on what will sell in the slow times. What's going to sell in January and February? What's going to sell in June, July, right? Work on the evergreen library and portfolio. You'll be happy you did this time next year for sure.
Okay. Right. Just trying to find a new question. We could also start on the shop reviews. We did get quite a few shops submitted.
Oh, nice.
There's also a TeePublic and a Redbubble in here.
Ooh, TeePublic.
Be different. So I'm going to try and share that screen. Let's see. The first one is called Health Village Apparel. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Etsy, right?
Yeah, this is an Etsy store. We've got soft, comfort, and high quality apparel. Looks like quite a nice banner. We've got 145 sales.
Nice.
Looks like they've got good, Star Seller ratings right here. That's good.
Is there like a TV or something on in the background?
Yeah, somebody's got a conference room going on in the background.
That might be me. Sorry, guys. That's probably me. Let me mute. I didn't even realize you guys could pick that up. That's my girlfriend.
No worries. So we've got a bunch of sweaters right here. First impressions, I think some of these thumbnails look pretty nice. Decent looking designs as well. We've got tarot cards.
What are you guys' thoughts on, because I've seen a lot of repeat designs, and I'm not that familiar with Etsy, but is it good to put like the same design right next to each other where it's pretty similar? Like
this right here?
Yeah.
I don't like doing that. It creates customer confusion in my mind. Like, why would you pick one and not the other without, they're just literally different colors at first glance anyway, right? It's introducing, again, friction where there otherwise would be none. There's a design that looks awesome. Oh, wait, there's one over here and here. What's the difference now? And then that's the whole thing about, analysis paralysis, right? Decision fatigue, however you want to call it. If you offer them too many options in the similar vein, people will be more and more likely to just abandon the decision-making process and leave and go somewhere else where they only have, one or two options. So if you're going to do this stuff, you can spread them out, or you can also sort your listings. You can go into your shop dashboard, click on the little pen beside your shop name, and then you can kind of drag and drop and place them randomly. So it's not the 10 of the same, even though I would never have 10 of the same. Yeah. Break it up visually for sure. I don't know how, what do you guys do with your Shopify and stuff like that, Chris? Like you don't list a bunch of the same looking stuff?
Yeah, we actually spend a decent amount of time optimizing the order of our collection page, is thinking of it as that's our main landing page. And we think of it in terms of what's it going to look like on mobile specifically. I don't know about for Etsy, but for Shopify, it's 80 to 90% mobile sessions, which is misleading for like a beginner on Shopify, because Shopify shows you everything on desktop. And when you look at your collection that way, you see it 4 across. So we look at it 2 across. And in terms of the products, we try to kind of scatter them. We definitely don't put the same design side by side, is the short answer. But what we try to do is mix it between design styles. So I'll try to have like a typography design next to like just a graphic design, and I'll do different color shirts. And it's little things like that that make it more engaging as you scroll. Like just picturing a wall of white shirts versus like white, blue, purple, red, and then it's typography, it's graphics. That makes it more engaging. But then the important thing is that, at least for Shopify, where we try to do like very niche specific, like yoga, for example, it's really important that there's one consistent theme that somebody coming to the site would like feel connected to. For example, if I click on an ad that has like a like heavily meditated like typography design, then if I click and I see like a history tease style, like super sarcastic, like borderline questionable level joke, like that would like be pretty off-putting and would give me like a pause before I buy from that site. So it's important that if I'm clicking on something like meditation related or like mindfulness, I should see all things that are in that same vein as from a buyer standpoint.
Nice.
So that's how we think through it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, makes sense. I feel the same. You got to break it up a little bit visually. Like you have like, what are we looking at right now? 8 different coquette bow designs. They're so
they are fairly similar.
It's all the same right there, one shot, right? And again, if you're looking on mobile, it's like 60 to 70, not quite as high with the Shopify numbers, but people are buying on mobile, so it has to be discernible quickly. And if you're going to be scrolling more than 3 finger swipes and still seeing the same kind of aesthetic, it's just kind of, it's boring ultimately.
I'm curious, what do you guys see on Etsy in terms of like where the sales are coming from? Are they coming from like search find buy, like people are typing in a search term and then they're clicking on an individual listing, going right to that, or a large number of people coming to your collection, like the collections we're looking at here, and then shopping around?
I see direct traffic, and then like from like search and find a listing, but then I have a ton of repeat customers, right? Like it's niche based, brand based kind of thing. So that's, a lot of people will say that it's just a random, like it's like a Google for buying a t-shirt, and then they don't care about your shop cohesion and the overall look. My wife and I both all of our shops, really, there's like 5 or 6 now, but we would absolutely prove that otherwise. If you're not a general store, if you're a general store, then yeah, it makes sense that people would come buy one thing and potentially never come back, right? Because you're not catering to that one specific customer. But we have a ton of repeat customers, and our conversion rates are up over 5% steady. All of them.
And you can help that out with like little inserts as well, with like Printful, for example. You can do that. You can add an insert and give people like a discount code if they come back. And I've had that happen a lot of times where people will order 1 coffee mug, for example, and then they'll use that additional discount for like a follow-up gift or next Christmas. But also for me, it's majority come from search. Not necessarily from the shop pages. But for one thing that I want to say is a lot of the designs definitely do look good, and I like the focus on a lot of customized stuff. Like you can change the name in a lot of these listings,
that's really cool.
Which is good.
The aesthetic of the shop looks good. It's clean, crisp. It looks really good. The designs are clean. They look good, except for that ER ornament is a little hard to make out. But yeah.
This one, nurse is a bit hard to read. That's a good point. Let's look at our next shop. Thanks for submitting that one.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully that was helpful.
We've got
another Etsy.
We've got legendary shirt right here. 245 sales.
Wow. 5-star. Nice.
Yeah, with 70 listings as well. That's a pretty good ratio if it's a new shop, especially. I like that the designs are fairly easy to see because a lot of these are quite zoomed in, but at the same time it's also hard to tell in some of these that they're a t-shirt.
True.
So these almost look more like a digital download to me.
That's true. Yeah, some of them do look like mock-ups that you with the t-shirt, but then some of them are just the designs.
Yeah.
As soon as you can, I would expand your evergreen library, because I feel like a bunch of your sales probably came from Halloween. It looked like at the top that was showing up there, Halloween and some political stuff. So expect a drought if you haven't had any evergreen sales yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shop definitely seems a little bit more all over the place with the mock-up styles. Like sometimes it's very zoomed out, then it's extremely zoomed in. There's kind of different types of mock-ups.
Yeah.
A few random products in between. So I try and make it look more unified in a sense.
That's what I would say.
But there's some good designs here.
What do you think about a shop banner? I know the other one had one on Etsy.
Yeah.
Do you think this every shop should have a shop banner or no?
I do. Like if you're trying to build trust, so like Legendary shirt, your face there should be kind of like a shop logo, but over on the right, where your actual profile picture is, there's nothing there. There's no banner. There's nothing that says, I'm a trustworthy shop. Buy from me. I think it's a chance to resonate emotionally. Emotionally is the biggest driver you can kind of capitalize. But yeah, anything you can do. Etsy gives you all those sections to fill out, and they compound and add to your shop quality score, right? Which is ultimately, a big bonus. So if you're making sales now, imagine what you could do if you built out your entire shop.
Yeah, I would also have the profile picture over here, like for your actual profile thing, and then have a logo for the shop on this
and
side.
try to get your star seller badge. You've got the 5-star reviews, maybe it looks like, but it looks like your turnaround times are lacking and your customer service is lacking if you haven't gotten all 3. So I would definitely work on that, because you can filter now by star seller too.
Yeah, that helps.
That's really cool.
And running a sale helps as well. So I noticed a lot of these kind of.
Oh, you see that one is. One of them was an SVG. If you go up, you can see that $2 one.
Yeah, there we go.
So you're right. It is kind of confusing to know which.
Yeah, it's hard to notice a difference, isn't it? Like this kind of looks the same.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, still a good job on getting 250 sales with a relatively low amount of product.
Impressive.
Then we've got one more Etsy store, and then we've got a TeePublic and a Redbubble. So let's look at this one right here. Olive Secret Soap.
41.
With 41 sales. New Jersey. No store banner again.
Yeah, you're going to want to build trust for sure. And you leverage the featured items. You got 3 more little stars you can put on items there.
Nice. I was going to ask about that. So you can do what, 3 featured
items?
Four
4 for sure. If you have the regular free Etsy account, if you have premium, then you got 2 extra big thumbnails. One can be a product and one can be a shop section.
Wow.
Which is nice too. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then it gives you a carousel as well, right?
You have like different layout options, don't you? With that
limitedly different, but yeah, a little slightly different. Yeah.
Do you recommend getting that? The I forgot what it's called.
The premium Shopify Premium. I have it on my biggest shop, and what I like about it is the banner. You can have it click. It's a clickable carousel, so you can have it click and link to a shop section. So in my banner, I would have, for example, 3 or 4 people wearing those kinds of shirts for that particular shop section. So it's the same aesthetic throughout, slightly different. They click on it, they go to that, that particular shop section, which would be a sub niche in my niche shop. The next banner, same thing, goes to a different section, right? So you're kind of like, it's advertising right in their face. Same way a Shopify store would work. I think you can have clickable banners there, everything too. So it's just, leveraging the marketing stuff. For the $15 a month, you get about $7 or $8 worth of between ad fees and listing fees covered. So for the extra $7 that you're out of pocket, if you're going to pay for it, then leverage those marketing elements. But I don't use it in any other shop other than the one, but I can't say for sure if it's helped or not. I would have to turn it off and then, measure the same kind of
Yeah.
stuff year
I
over
was
year, I think.
I was signed up to it for a while, but it was also tough for me to figure out, does it really make a difference?
It doesn't show us any metrics of who's clicked
Yeah.
on the banner and that, which sucks.
So my first impressions from this shop, I wonder what you think as well, is that the mock-ups don't seem very optimized for Etsy, or a lot of them.
That's what I was going to say.
They kind of have more that Amazon feel with the white empty background. I think the lifestyle mock-ups tend to definitely do better and kind of fit the Etsy aesthetic better.
And I think they could zoom in on a lot of some of them look just like maybe Printify mock-ups that you like, that one hanging on the chair. I think that's a Printify, the t-shirt hanging on a chair, but I would zoom in so you could see it. You don't need to see the chair and the t-shirt and everything. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then on the first page there was be intentional with your mock-ups. On that, there was one mug that was turned and you couldn't see maybe 2/3 of the design on that first page, right there under the black hoodie. No idea what we're looking at, right? So just be very intentional and deliberate with how you're creating your listings. What would make you click on that if you were a shopper, right? If you couldn't understand what it said. Yeah.
And you said this before, Philip, to make it more cohesive. We saw another one where kind of mock-ups were all over the place. I think you could definitely do some mock-ups that kind of work together instead of having all kinds of different mock-ups.
Yeah, like we've got some colored mugs or colored inside mugs with a plain white mock-up, and then we've got these ones which are lifestyle, different angles. So it seems all a bit random.
I would also, focus on one or two products until you figure out how to design for them and nail it. You're all over the place here, and designing for everything keeps you in different headspaces. You might be in the same aesthetic even if you were niched, even though you're not. But even the constraints of the artboard sizes that you got to navigate and think about when you're designing can be enough to skew how the quality of your design is, right, where your headspace is. All over the place. I would stick to one or two products tops until you completely nail it. It's the only way to get to know what's working.
We do see the same thing on Shopify as well. I think it's and I had the same inclination when I was starting out. For some reason, I associated success or like a full-fledged store would just have lots of different product types. Maybe because every retail store I had ever walked into my entire life had way more than just one product. Who knows? But we see it all the time. Like people who are starting out thinking that, okay, I'm starting a print-on-demand store. That means I need T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, canvases, tapestries. Oh, they just added, wall art, like everything under the sun that whatever supplier they're using can fulfill. And that's the complete opposite way to go. Like down the road, sure. But in the beginning, just like Jay is saying, you're designing for a specific product type is building up a skill set. So as you're becoming proficient in design, it's just like switching niches, like pivoting more than a basketball player. Like if you're switching your product type, every other design you're making, you're not building up like that skill set, opposed to if you just be disciplined about making 100, 200 designs of one specific product type. And this is what I recommend to people, at the very least, get that product type to be like 100, 150 designs, get to the point where you're doing at least 5 to 10K a month in sales. This is Shopify, at least 5 to 10K a month in sales, and then maybe diversify into other things. But normally people are just chasing, like they want more sales, and we think that more sales will come from more product types, and it very, very, very rarely is the case.
More is not better, that's for sure.
Yeah, not on these. That's kind of a different approach for like Amazon, where it doesn't matter because there is no shop on Amazon because the shop is Amazon. Right. But for Etsy and Shopify, that's you're right. Don't do that.
Awesome. Next up, we've got a Redbubble shop, Quantum Thread.
Yeah.
Got a little banner here. So in this case, we can not really comment much on the mock-ups because those are all preset.
But they do have a featured collection, which is nice. I would put your top sellers, or if you're doing something for Halloween or Christmas or something like that, something special. That they've got Year of the Dragon, so they're out early for 2020. Wait, is that? Oh, that's this year. I would change that to next year, I guess, because it's coming closer to next year instead of this year. Everybody
Yeah.
that's bought Year of the Dragon probably bought it by now on. Yeah.
So in this case, I guess we'll focus more on the actual designs. Easily distract. Oh, look, a scroll. That's pretty funny.
So they have a lot of. So I see this a lot with scaled design. So these are kind of like scaled designs on Redbubble, and typically Redbubble and TeePublic don't like that, because it looks like it when you're looking at their shop, it just looks like the same product, and it's just a different word that's changing. So I don't know. It's a tough one because I know people like scale designs, but it doesn't work that well for me, at least on Redbubble and TeePublic.
Yeah, also, they've definitely moved away from that. I don't think they used to have a problem with it, but like the last few years, I don't think they really want people to push that anymore.
And especially TeePublic. I know we're going to talk about TeePublic next, but they if they see that, they will put you in the apprentice category. And I know there's categories now with Redbubble, and I'm going to guess that by doing that, you might be put in the lower categories too, which is kind of unfortunate. So.
Same with Spreadshirt, by the way. If you upload scale designs to Spreadshirt, they will reject them. So those are kind of better for Amazon if you've got a high tier account. But yes, some of these designs look good. Like I like this. This is a good kind of template that works for many different niches.
That's nice. That cruise enthusiast is kind of a cool design.
Some of them are a bit hard to read. Like this one, a lot of the text is very small. Here we've got a very thin font. I still have no energy, but the retired part looks cool.
Yeah, readability is key because you can't really zoom in on the mock-ups here like you can in Etsy. So you definitely, it has to look good on their mock-ups, which, like you're saying, it's hard to read on most of these. So
yeah, this one as well. I know that kind of design, you kind of need a smaller font. That's the idea. But maybe if you can make the font slightly bolder, that would help. It looks extremely thin.
Yeah, and contrast too. Like if you have a dark words on a dark T-shirt, that would be tough to read.
I just noticed up in the search bar, it's just searching all these phrases, and I'm like, is Philip searching for these?
That's new AI from Redbubble.
It's like, what are you doing, Philip? What are you searching for? What's going on?
Redbubble added that recently. Yeah, I saw that too before. I'm like, what? They want you to search. Is kind of what they're like. Search for this. Search for that. Cool stickers though. The Japanese stickers look kind of cool. I've been guessing that's AI.
Right. Yeah, but definitely some of your designs look good. Some of them are a bit harder to read, but they're not all bad. This looks pretty good to me. I like Pause and Profit. Rabbits are my spirit animal. Saw some other spirit animal ones.
Oh,
this looks like a cool one as well. And this one is a bit easier to read, like the small letters.
Are you able to choose your mock-up? Is it based on product type?
It's based on product type. You can choose what product you want to show. Like you can show the default product being a T-shirt, or you can. A lot of times people just let Redbubble choose. But
so, like on that one that we were looking at, the camping one, could you not pick a male shirt just so that it was more easy to read straight on?
You could pick a T-shirt. I don't know if it defaults to male, but I have to check on that. It usually has the male or the female, I think, if you pick
it's
T-shirt.
kind of hard to read a little bit.
Yeah. Can you scroll up and let's see if it do by most popular, most relevant? Do most popular.
Best selling.
Yeah, best selling. Sorry. So this is probably their best sellers. Yeah. Maybe that's why it's up at the top. Those warning ones probably are their best sellers, but it's still, you still got a retired 2022 and a retired, there's a lot of multiple ones, which I'd be wary of making the same.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And the last shop is on TeePublic.
Oh, cool designs. AI.
Silverback art and design. So yeah, we've got some design examples in the banner. These look like posters to me.
Yeah, they do. Redbubble, not
Redbubble.
Redbubble, TeePublic made a change where their shop banner is huge now. It's like almost twice as big as it used to be. And you don't have any links out to TeePublic, which makes it feel like it's on its own store and not a TeePublic store. So you can see there's not really a good way to kind of switch and go back and see any other people on TeePublic, which I think could be helpful.
So do you set your own banner or TeePublic sets it? You're saying
you
TeePublic?
make your own banner. Yeah, but it's a lot bigger than it was before.
Nice.
And this is TeePublic. They just do designs. That's their thumbnail.
Yeah.
You can choose the background color of the thumbnail, but that's it.
I still have some that are selling there but I haven't uploaded it in got to be close to 10 years now.
Yeah.
But again, that's a testament to the evergreen to stuff, right? Like the stuff that works 10 years later still sells. I still make like $100 or $150 a month from TeePublic.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some of these smaller ones, they're hard to read.
Yeah, this text or this layout with the text is a bit unimaginative, in my opinion. You can probably lay that out in a better way, where it's easier to read and looks more interesting.
Unlike Redbubble, TeePublic sells a lot more T-shirts and T-shirt focus, and so I would make sure that your designs are laid out in a way that would work good on a T-shirt. And you can also pick different colors for your background. You don't always have to pick black, which I see a lot of black here, and I know everything looks good on black, but I would also kind of change it up. You have black and white and stuff, but
yeah, like this unicorn example, that looks like a good design and it works well on the red.
Right. Yep.
Except for my last month,
Cool.
TeePublic has sent you $22 US.
Oh no.
Might have to go massage that beast again with some bestsellers I got.
I like TeePublic compared to Redbubble. I like TeePublic because there's like 3 different ways that you can make money on TeePublic. You can sell your stuff. You can also sign up for affiliates, so you can sell other people's stuff. And if you get people to sign up under you, there's also that you get $1 for each sale that someone signs up under you. So
they also drastically reduced the royalties, right? So you might have to leverage a few avenues there.
Yeah, so TeePublic actually has 2 categories now, just like Redbubble has 3 categories. TeePublic has the apprentice and the artisan category. TeePublic's artisan category, you make $4 per sale on a T-shirt, but $2 when it's on sale. So they have a sale like every month too. So you don't know if you're getting a sale on a sale, but if you're in the apprentice category, you only make $3 on a T-shirt sale and $1 during a sale. So kind of
it's
janky.
Pretty abysmal. Because they do run sales like 50% of the month.
Yes.
But yeah, generally, I think looking at your designs, you definitely have some designs that look really nice. Occasionally, there's text that's really tough to read, or you've put it on on a dark background when the text is also kind of dark blue. But yeah, like this design looks quite nice. This is an interesting layout. There's some nice stuff in here. Week for food. Yeah, so you've got some good puns as well. Naturally gorgeous. But sometimes the layouts are a bit, in my opinion, like not very interesting or creative like this. The way this text is laid out doesn't look too attractive to me. I don't know, it's hard to describe.
You can sort and filter by most popular too up here. So can you do the popular? I would suggest to do this on your own too, and like see what's selling on your end, and like, oh, this does really well. So maybe do more of these things.
Yeah, that's a cool design.
Yeah, which is probably why it's up at the top on the banner.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, see, there a lot of more colors that you did before. So
yeah, these are all different background colors. That's right. Cool. Desert planet. All right.
Oh, it's kind of all over the place.
It looks like Tatooine.
Yeah, it did look like
Yeah,
that.
it did. Yeah,
You
be
can
careful with
get
that.
away with slightly more things on TeePublic and Redbubble than you can on Amazon for sure.
That's not supposed to be encouragement, by the way.
No,
No.
Don't test it.
don't test it. You don't want your shop to get taken down either.
All right. Thanks to everyone who submitted links this time.
I would love to do a Shopify store someday.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Someone
I don't
send
know why
one
no
in.
one ever submits any. Oh, it's a shame.
Which is the best platform to start print on demand? I think it depends what you want out of it. It'll have pros and cons for sure.
I would have said there was a time, I would have said probably Amazon merch once I figured that out. But it's with the difficulties to get into and stuff, it's that's an obvious issue. That's an obvious barrier there. But now you've got the Printify integration with Amazon proper, so you're looking at a massive market, but you also have to pay for that. So I think to get your feet wet, Etsy's probably still the easiest with the built-in traffic. If you have marketing prowess by any stretch, then go for the Shopify, right? But know that you're going to need to drive traffic if you do anything off from a marketplace. But that's my take on that. There are people that have started with the Shopifys and have won there too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it can go both ways. It's really like approaching it from what is the business we're going to start, and if you decide print on demand and apparel is something that interests you, opposed to consulting, digital products, any number of other things, and you want to go the print on demand route, then it's okay, what platform could I choose? And then there's marketplaces, there's hosting your own thing, and that's true for just about any business type. There's like Upwork would be the consulting equivalent to using a marketplace. There's those options in any industry, and then there's pros and cons like Jay was just talking about. And the good thing is that it's definitely a reversible decision, and it's not once you start down one path you have to go down. You should whatever you start with, you should stick to it, but there's ways that they can dovetail nicely into each other. For example, if you start the Etsy way, it's good for building up cash flow and getting your feet wet, like Jay said, and then building a Shopify brand, and then you have some positive cash flow from Etsy. Not saying it'll just happen immediately, but eventually you build a positive cash flow. You can then reinvest in building a brand, or the other way, start Shopify first, build up a brand and an audience, and then as you drive more traffic, you naturally get people that are Etsy shoppers seeing your ads. So then they'll go to Etsy and Amazon and search for your brand keywords. And just by starting Shopify and then launching on Etsy later, you start having all that organic traffic. Draft is the term for it. So there's ways that they build off of each other. So it's not an either or type of thing.
For Amazon merch, if anyone gets into it, I would definitely say whilst you're in the lower tiers, at least try and start an Etsy store as well, because you're not really going to be able to do much with a low tier Amazon merch account. But that is definitely one of the easier routes once you get it going, because then you don't have the fulfillment, the customer service, and the all of that aspect that you would do with Etsy and Shopify. It's just tough to get in. We had a question about that earlier, actually, about getting into Amazon merch. I don't know if I can find it now. But someone was wondering if it has to do with the location.
It may. They never say.
Yeah.
I think it's just luck, basically, because I'm going to guess that Amazon has so many spots open, and just because there's a sheer number of people that want to get on Amazon, they can only allow so many people on at a time. And if they only have they have more than 10 spots, but if they, for example, if they had 10 spots and 100 people are trying to get in, it's going to seem like you can't get in, because it's just the rate of accepting people is so low. And man, I really wish they would know about people signing up just to sell it, because there are people that sign up, get accounts, and then turn around and sell it, and I wish they didn't do that. So
don't buy an account.
That's bad practice.
And I know people as well that have a really hard time getting in from the UK or from the US and who've applied multiple times. And I think sometimes people assume that it's just really easy If you live in the US, you get accepted straight away. But it's just as tough in the countries here, like in the UK, it's the same. And I have heard, for example, a lot of people claim that in Morocco you can't get an account, but I've also spoken to people that did apply and got an account from Morocco.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is as bad as people think with the location influencing it, but it's mainly just down to luck. Like you can probably just leave the application blank or say, "Hi, I want an account," and if you're lucky, you will get one.
Yeah. And it's not skill either, because I've heard some people who are amazing t-shirt designers trying to get in, and they still don't get in. So
I would still, nevertheless treat it like a job interview, tell them what you can bring to their platform, and be, gracious about it though, and not pompous, right? Nobody wants to, you wouldn't hire somebody who's like saying that I'm the shiz, right? So you want to just try.
I think that's why I got denied. I started off my application saying.
Did you say that?
I said, "What's up, Jeff? You got the shiz here."
Yeah, signed from Bucky's bathroom.
Hey, we've got a special surprise guest. Everyone welcome Shimmy.
Oh nice.
Hey.
Hi there.
Shimmy,
I don't know why I was watching it on the background, being like, "I just got the link. I'm just going to join."
Yeah, you should. Nice to have you here.
You keep going.
Well, if anyone's got any questions for Shimmy specifically, let us know. In the chat.
One thing I will say is that, what Juna said, Amazon doesn't tell us why they don't or do let people in. So anybody that claims to know how to foolproof guarantee it is not being truthful with you. Same with the tier ups, right? Just because you're in tier 10, like what Phil was saying, I wouldn't wait just because you satisfied the requirements and criteria for tiering up of having the sales and the uploads. That doesn't mean that Amazon's going to just say, yeah, all right, stamped, you're approved, next. So don't wait, right? Leverage other platforms with those same designs if you have, and keep building on your design foundation. There's no rhyme or reason to a lot of what Amazon does, even to the point of the what we were talking about, the survey they gave us. Like, it'd be so much nicer, like Adam's point, if we could have more say or involvement in the process of what is working. We are literally in those trenches, but Amazon does a lot of questionable things, and it's always in September, October are the big ones, which sucks for everybody. But so I would, just don't wait around, right? Take action, and keep working on your designs and leverage as many platforms as you can if you're feeling stuck.
I've even tried applying like as a full-fledged brand, like after we had run history tees for months and months, build it up. It's like it was doing well on Shopify. And I thought like, oh, they're going to love having a new brand. Like, we've got all this neat stuff to sell. Like, people are loving it. We can say we have thousands of reviews. I didn't even mention that we were the shiz, and we got denied. And that's happened on 2 different brands now. And I'm like, I was clueless.
No way.
I would also say a lot of people put a lot of pressure on Amazon, and they try and get in, but Amazon has its problems too. It's not like if you get on Amazon, you're guaranteed thousands and thousands of dollars every month, right? You still have to learn what sells best on Amazon and create good stuff. You can't just blast Amazon, and they do have great traffic and prime shipping and all of that stuff, but you still need to have something that people want to buy. So it's not just a foolproof way to make money on Amazon. So you still have to learn.
One thing I'll add to that, I would love to know from Amazon, like how many tier 10 or even tier 100 accounts are out there that have been approved that are just sitting dormant, right? Mm-hmm. Because what Chris was talking about, where you hit that valley, I can't remember what it was, pessimism, something, right? They hit when it gets hard, right? Because people think you get on Amazon, it's like the golden ticket. It's not. That's the first step, but it's a lot of work.
That's when it starts.
Yeah, it's when it starts. It's a lot of work and effort, and you're going to hit some walls and stuff. And there's probably there's people watching this that are probably in tier 10, right? Tier 100. And they're like, I haven't touched it in months or years. So, there's the scarcity of like getting approved for accounts, but then there's people out there that actually have these accounts that just aren't taking action or fulfilling, pushing and trying to kind of grow it. So, that's another thing. It's like, that's feedback I would give Amazon, is like, if there's accounts that are out there that are dormant, these people are not participating on the platform, they're just sitting there, not doing anything, close those and offer them. Mm-hmm. Squash those and offer them up to other people so that we can get more people who are going to be, participatory in the platform and help it grow and foster and all that stuff.
Yeah, give them a $20 Amazon gift card to let go their account. And
It should be as simple as having when you join, you get a number. Let's say your number like 4002, right? And then they say we're up to this number, and we let X amount in every month.
Yeah.
And eventually you will be let in, whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. But at least that way you have a number. There's no reason why anyone should ever be rejected. Like, it makes no sense. Everyone should have an equal chance. I don't understand why they reject people, unless it's like they reject people based on the country they're from, which is like so subtle racism from Amazon that no one talks about. But it's just, I don't know. It's so easy to be like, oh, you're number 4,000. Great. Yeah. We estimate it's going to be like a wait time of 6 months.
Well, we've covered all the bases now, Philip. We talked about gas stations, called Amazon slightly racist. Anything else we need to check off?
Aren't you going to show dogs or something? Show pets? Or...
Yeah,
we did. We saw Philip.
Pet show and tell. Huh? What do you think is the best platform to start then, Shimmy?
I think it depends on what you want to do. If you have money, then start with like Shopify. If you don't have money, then try and start with Amazon. When you get rejected, then default to Etsy. But I guess it depends on what you want. If you want to make, I don't know. I think print on demand is changing massively. I think, especially after the Amplified event, I think a lot more people are going to start moving over from Etsy and Amazon to Shopify or just other of their own websites, something like that. Even Fourth Wall or any of them really. But it really depends on what you want and how much money you've got to invest in it.
And I would only add probably what you are already good at if there's certain avenues, right?
I don't think anyone is like good at anything at the beginning though, because they don't know what they want to do.
But if you've come from a different vocation,
from marketing.
Right? If you come from a marketing background, and maybe you're going to be naturally better at a lot of the Shopify elements, for example.
Yeah, or you would maybe struggle with Amazon Merch because you don't have access to their ads platform at the beginning.
I think at the end of the day, no matter what platform you go on, the designs are still the most important thing, whether it's Amazon, Etsy, or Shopify, or Redbubble. It's always going to be the designs that are the most important. Yeah. Whatever background you come from, I think if you can do good designs, then you can succeed on any platform, even if you're no good at marketing. But if you're bad at designs, you're not going to succeed on any platform.
Agree 1,000%.
That's why I came in, because I saw you guys. I saw you reviewing the designs, and I was like, oh, I can't hold back on a little design review. So I joined.
Damn it! Should have joined earlier.
I tend to step back on the design stuff sometimes in this group setting because I don't want to be overly negative all the time.
I don't look at it as being negative. It's a really odd concept. I read it in a book. By telling someone what they want to hear, you are actually hurting them more than by telling them what they need to hear. Because if you tell someone what they want to hear, then they go off and they'll take your advice and keep messing up based on that advice and then blame you. Whereas if you just tell them what they need to hear, they'll be upset with you until they implement it, and then they actually get better. And then they'll go back and actually like you more, like be happy you told them how it was. It's an interesting concept, but yeah.
I hear that all the time. Like people say, my friends and family say this design is so good. Like, well, they're probably not telling you the truth.
They don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Definitely not here to stroke egos. Like I'm looking at other things that you can do with, because if you're stroking egos and you're just reinforcing what they're already doing even right, then you're wasting everybody's time, right? But if you're telling them, certain elements they can work on above and beyond the design, I think was constructive too. I just meant specifically like certain designs. It's obvious. Yeah, I don't often hold back, but I tried to bite.
Oh no, 100%. If you're gonna give advice, if you're gonna say something's bad, you have to back it up with what they could do to improve it. If you're just like, your design's terrible, quit, then it doesn't help anyone. But if you kind of say why it's bad, then they can learn from it.
And also, I think we're all transparent and like open about the fact that, or at least I say it repeatedly, I still have no idea what's going to sell well. I get shocked all the time by like what does well, and then things that I think are the shiz. I'm going to use that all the time now. Things that I think are awesome.
Need a shiz counter.
Yeah, very, very often completely bomb. And so like what I and I think you guys are all the same. Like when I tell people the most important feedback that matters, by far the only feedback that matters, is far from mine. It's the market. And so the things that I can share are simply from my own experience, like patterns that I've noticed amongst top selling designs, then amongst our lowest selling designs, and then try to save you some time and money and testing to like try to speed things up. But ultimately the decision that matters the most is what the market says. And like the real skill to be building up is how to interpret the data and feedback that you get from the market to accurately iterate on your catalog. But everything that we say, or at least for myself, is like just based on experience, but the market is the true, like the only source of truth.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can create a good laid out design and it looks really nice, but you never know if it's going to sell or not until it hits the market and get some data. So
100%. We did a test this weekend and we had the most random thing sell, to the point where we are like, do we want to create more designs like this? Because it's so random and it's not really like what we want to be selling, but really, really random stuff sold. You can't dictate what the market's gonna, what people are gonna buy.
Yeah,
but
even
you
the
can
pros,
think like templates and like principles and design theory. Like there are certain things that, like, I think we can all agree on that make a design look good. It might not sell, but it will objectively look good versus a design that won't sell, but also objectively looks terrible. I think that's like, that's like the difference.
You're
like
giving yourself the best chance of getting a sale, whether you get it or not is not.
Whether or not the consumer is, artistically educated enough to make that a subjective decision on whether that objectively good design fits them and their budget, then that's a completely different thing. But yeah, we can all agree on what should look good as designers, or at least with some design background, versus what is, obviously abhorrent, really.
Yeah. Very cool.
Right.
And that's the other thing. I just saw SEO in a comment that passed by, but like all the SEO in the world isn't going to get sales if your design is garbage, right?
What is it we say, Chris? A good design, no matter how much marketing you have, a bad design will never sell. But if you've got a good design, it could still sell with bad marketing.
Something like that. Yeah. Close.
I've been saying the same thing for years, so it's nice to hear it reiterated or echoed. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that was the thing I was trying to say. It amplified while I got a frog in my throat and started coughing. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was great. I tried just talking through it, and it just got worse and worse. Then
it's up on YouTube now, right?
Yeah, probably. You could go. Yeah, I would love to watch that again. Relive it. The mic is like taped to your face, so it's like right here, so you can't even turn.
Someone should clip that, since Chris likes like taking screenshots of people.
Oh yeah, that's right. We should make it a meme.
Yeah, that'd be.
And put the shiz on it or something.
Well, I've missed the shiz. Where's the shiz come from? That's such a British thing.
I was talking about a design, or being pompous when you're applying to merch and stuff like that, alluding to being the shiz, and I didn't want to swear on the, for YouTube, right? Because then you'll maybe get, I don't know, less views or whatever. But so I ended up curbing the last three letters and shiz instead of something else.
Shiz is a thing, though. You can be like the shiz, like the bee's knees.
Yeah, but without
it's our thing now.
Getting censored by YouTube. Right.
Yeah. Nice.
Normally it would have been a few other letters.
Yeah.
We've got a few personal topics now at the end.
Personal.
To go through. First one we were going to do is a pet show and tell, because we've got a few people with pets here. Does anyone need to get their pet if they want to show it, or?
I'm bummed that I actually have another call right now.
Juna, get the rubber band ball.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, please bring it out. Just before I leave.
Okay, this is just for Chris.
The rubber band
loves
ball.
these.
Juna's pet.
The highlight of my week right here.
I knew this was going to happen.
So you had it at the ready?
Hey.
There's Roscoe. There's my pet. Hey, hi.
Yeah.
I hope it's grown, Juna. It better have grown. It's better have grown, Juna.
Hey, Roscoe.
Say hi to Philip. Say hi to everybody.
Oh my god!
You look like you've been making some progress, Juna.
No, I didn't. I haven't added to it yet.
Rubber band volley
You should add one rubber band every time you upload a new design.
Ooh.
As your
That's a great
positive
idea.
Well,
reinforcement.
I tried looking for rubber
Exactly.
bands at Office Max where I usually get them, and they were sold out, so I couldn't.
You should start selling them.
Oh.
Look at
Is
these
Milo
cute dogs.
sleepy? He's very just like
Yeah,
looks
he's
like he's
always
falling
sleepy.
asleep.
It's like 5 PM, but yeah,
Aw.
he's sleepy.
We need a dog.
There he is.
We're gonna get a dog.
Never ending.
I know what
I
Chris
think I thought Roscoe had short legs, but Milo has some very
like-
short legs. Look at those things.
Is Milo a sausage dog?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, that makes sense.
literally.
All right, Roscoe's furry.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you, everybody. I have to head out for a new call.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Hey,
having
Chris.
me.
See you, Chris.
Nice
for being here.
meeting the pets. What's your dog's name, Adam?
Roscoe.
Roscoe. Nice meeting you, Roscoe and Milo.
Yeah.
All right. And thanks for breaking out the rubber band ball. Always a good time.
Yeah.
Juna.
I should have had it ready to go. So
Yeah. Next time.
next time.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Bye. Peace.
See you, buddy.
Chris.
Is it Roscoe as in P. Coltrane?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Dukes of Hazzard, right?
That's right.
Yep. Back in the day, yeah. And I unfortunately can't get my dog. He has sliced his pad on his paw, so we're trying to keep him immobile.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not easy to carry around either, I guess.
Impossible, literally. It's a Great Dane, so it's not happening.
How heavy is he? He's got to be up there. And
He's not as heavy as our Mastiff cross that we had before. He's
Oh.
about 165, I would suspect now, maybe
That's a big dog.
160. Yeah, our previous though was like 190, 195.
whoa, big boy.
Giant.
Wow.
Healthy. Well, they're not fat by any stretch. They're
Yeah,
just
they're
big.
just big. Yeah.
Big gentle.
Do you have any
giants.
pets, Shimmy?
No, we want a Cavapoo, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with having a dog, and we like traveling. So
Mm-hmm.
I hear
That
that.
almost sounded like you said with your accent a cup of poo. But you said a Cavapoo, right?
yeah, Cavapoo.
Yeah.
What
Is that that's a poodle cavalier mix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister-in-law and brother have one, and it's just the cutest thing.
Kamaru.
I don't know. There's so much responsibility with a pet. I think when we have kids, then we'll get a pet. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because then they can like deal with them.
Then you can have the kid watch the pet. There you go.
There you go.
If you like traveling, don't bother with the dog.
No,
That's
we'd have
my
to.
advice.
Well, we have a lot of people that would take it. That's the truth.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
yeah,
That's cool. If you're in that still at home base sort of thing, yeah, it's a lot more difficult if you're living elsewhere, I guess. Yeah.
we've got like 5 or 6 people we could give it to if we need to. But like if we go away for like 4 weeks or something,
Ooh.
they do not. I mean, maybe I don't know. I haven't asked. I don't know. It just means they can't go away either.
Yeah. That means they're stuck at home, right?
Literally. But one day we'll get a dog, I'm sure.
All right. Are you usually late or on time to things?
Early.
Shimmy
On time.
likes to join 1.5 hours late.
I've been working. I mean, I know you guys have been working too. I had this on in the background, but I'm editing this crazy video and it's taking me ages. And
Ooh.
I just needed a break from it.
Yeah, I bet editing takes forever, doesn't it?
Well, I'm
How
not.
long? Well,
sending
depends
it
what
to my
type of video.
editor.
But
You are.
say again.
I'm sending it to my editor, but I send like a cut version to my editor, so he doesn't have to do that. He just puts in all the stuff. But I'm trying to make this long video not feel like just a talking head. So we're editing from minute 1 to
Wow.
minute 500 or something
It
of
is
like
a long video.
with all the editing and all the animations and stuff. And it's just taking absolutely ages. I don't know how.
Is this your 21-hour course that you have like Chris does?
Yeah, but mine's not going to be 21 hours. I can tell you that. I got no time for 21 hours. No, like I think it will be like between 5 and 7.
Wow.
I
That's
don't
so
know.
impressive.
I don't know. We'll
That's
see.
amazing.
Yeah, that sounds like a tough editing project.
Those are work. That's something that I think the general public just take for granted too, right? I know the amount of work now. I'm newer to the YouTube game compared to you guys on here, but it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. Like the 10-minute videos you see on the typical have taken significantly much more time to put together. So I
100%.
can't imagine 7 hours, man. Kudos to you for
Yeah.
even taking on something like that.
Now the scripting of this started in April, and then
I believe
shooting is not so bad actually. Shooting takes like 2-3 weeks. That's not
Mhm.
so bad. It's the
chopping it up and editing.
yeah. The worst part is going to be having to watch it through to make sure there's no mistakes.
Yeah, that's going to take a few days.
Yeah, that's going to take a while.
XP.
But the thing is also you got to I can't shoot it months apart because things change, and I don't want to like upload a video that's outdated already. So
I know.
it's like you have to cram it in the last 2 weeks, otherwise it doesn't flow. Like if I use Shopify a month earlier and then I use Shopify today to like continue the touch ups, it might look different, and the video just doesn't sync.
That's right. They make changes on their websites and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel bad for my editor because he's editing with multiple angles as well. Because I decided to try multiple angles, and yeah, I mean he's a trooper, but he's also in college, so he's got a lot on his plate.
So yeah, become a YouTuber. It's easy. That's the message.
Yeah.
You think it takes a long time getting sales on T-shirts, man? The YouTube game is long.
I love it how people think though that you go to YouTube because you want to make tons of money. Like, yeah, I find that funny. I can't help but laugh at those comments.
If you are starting YouTube to make money, you're going to give up before you make any money.
You're going to give up before you sell that first T-shirt for sure.
Yeah.
People are so shocked when I tell them what my AdSense is. Like, I'm like, oh, it's a couple thousand. They're like, like 10, 20. I'm like, no. Are you high? It's not even a fraction. And they're like, why are you doing it then? I was like, am I just allowed to do something that I enjoy doing? Like, people find it so baffling that you do something that doesn't make much money just because you like doing it. I don't know. I love YouTube. It's
Me
great.
too. I love giving back. And also I learn a lot more when I have to actually teach it, right? Like, oh, this is actually how you do it. Or I better find a way to do this so that I can teach my subscribers and followers how to actually do this, because I don't know 100%. So it's nice.
Yeah, teaching is the best way to learn, isn't it? In many ways. All right, we were talking about this before
Halloween plans.
Before we went live, so I'm curious, Shimmy, do you do anything for Halloween? Because like,
what in terms of for business or pleasure?
No, this is like personal, like because in the UK it's not really that big, is it?
No. Also, I'm religious. I'm Jewish, so we have our Halloween is like, it's not Halloween, but it happens in February. So like Halloween for us isn't really a thing. It never has been. It's not even like in our area. Like you won't get people trick or treating in our area or anything. Yeah.
So no kids coming to your house asking for anything.
No one's egging our house. But the thing is, though, like it is a thing in the UK. Like all the shops, theme parks, everything. There's Fright Nights and tons of Halloween stuff. And I've been to Halloween parties in the past, but I'm not really like a Halloween person. Like I like to work. I'll just work.
All right.
We're passing out popcorn this year instead of candy. Should be fun.
Popcorn.
Yeah, little bags of Skinny Pop. So if you come by,
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I've got to catch a flight, and yeah.
I like
popcorn. Yeah, let's all go trick or treating to Juna's house.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny. Can you imagine? But just don't tell him.
What a great costume! You look just like Shimmy.
Wow, you're dressed up as Shimmy the YouTuber.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if you've got any Halloween plans. I didn't think that the theme parks even do stuff here. I didn't even realize it goes that far. So
yeah, theme parks are great. Like Thorpe Park in the UK or Alton Towers. It's the best time to go because they have so much stuff on for Halloween.
Nice.
And they open up, I think, until midnight. I think they're open, which is pretty cool to ride a roller coaster at like 11 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, he
Canada's
said that
Wonderland
too,
does
right?
the same thing.
Adam said that they do it a lot in Florida too, right? Universal Studios.
Yeah,
and all
it's
that.
really big. They do like a theme. The Halloween Horror Nights one does like a theme every year. So like, one year it's Walking Dead, like when Stranger Things was big. So all the haunted houses, all the everything is like themed for, I don't know what this year is, but whatever is the hot sort of Halloween spooky scary thing going on. But yeah, it's the same idea, right? The parks are open, you ride in roller coasters at midnight, and
Nice.
it's a good time.
All right.
Wait, someone said I got Summerween.
Summerween. Wow.
Is that
It
actually
kind of a
Starts that
mashup.
early.
I don't know. I guess it's still kind of warm over here for October. So
Gotta love global warming.
Yeah.
Someone says they would have loved to see what you had to say, Shimmy, being
No, you
brutal
wouldn't.
about the designs.
No, you wouldn't. Trust me, you wouldn't. I was looking at the thing. I would not have been as nice. I'll tell you that much. I am.
Maybe next
I'm
time.
very blunt. I'm my blood is very British and it's very blunt, and I say it how it is.
but you're also tell them what to improve. So
Yeah. No, 100%. I'll never just say it's bad, but I also won't sugarcoat anything. There were some cool designs there, though. I did like see a couple that I thought were really cool.
Yeah.
But
A couple that many.
yeah. Well,
No, I'm joking.
next time.
Yeah, you have to join for one of the reviews.
No, I should have
We'll do
joined today. I had to get my work done before I could do extra what's his face activities, extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, James.
Yeah, that goes back to the earlier point, right? No one, like, we're not really making money from these live streams. No one is.
No.
We're just doing it for fun because it is really fun to interact with you all live. So we've had consistently over 200 views today, which is awesome.
Whoa.
So thanks to everyone who's joined.
Nice. That's sick. What I would say for quarter 4, because I know you guys are talking about it a little bit, if you guys haven't started doing personalized stuff, it is flipping huge in quarter 4.
Are you seeing some sales already? Wow.
Yeah, we had someone reach out to us yesterday, maybe it was this morning. I can't remember. Lauren was doing it, and he's like, "Your personalized design, I want this, but can you change the words to this and this?" And it's not really like what we would normally do, but we were like, maybe. And he's like, okay, because I want to order some for Christmas. And then like that word "some" was like, oh, okay, so it's not one then. You want to order a few? He goes, yeah. He's like, I want to make sure they will just get there in time. I was like, yeah, they'll definitely get there in time for Christmas. And we've run a couple of tests over the last few weeks with our personalized designs, and they've done really well. Personalized designs just do so well during this time because print on demand, you're selling in quarter 4. Most of the t-shirts you sell are going to be gifted. And if you think about a gift, the best kind of gift is a personalized gift. So if you can mix print on demand and personalization, which that's the point of print on demand, it's meant to be like a one-off thing, then you can literally just print money. Like, it's ridiculous.
Are you doing it is that your Shopify store or is it Shopify?
Yeah, we're doing that through Shopify. Yeah,
can do really well at Etsy as well, though. I started selling personalized ornaments like a month ago.
Really?
For Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get started. I'm late.
And it's good, I think, as well, if you can, rather than just doing like add your own name, if you can allow people to add like their own photos or something of a pet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's more work, but I think that's even like going a step further, like a little more work on your end, but less competition and more reason for people to buy if they can add their own.
Well, one thing I'd say is whatever personalization you do, make sure it's easily and quickly repeatable. So like either you can create an SOP and just hire someone to do it for you if you're getting enough sales. But if you're not, and let's say you want to do the pet or you want to do something, make a Photoshop action so that whenever you get an order in, it's like a 4 or 5 minute job to put their design on or their name on or something. Don't like ever do personalization where you are recreating the design from scratch and putting their information in, because like, at the end of the day, it's It's not worth the money.
No, that's
No,
not
and
worth it.
and limit what options the customer has for personalization too. Start there, right? Don't
like
allow them
name.
to drop paragraphs, and don't go back and forth with proofs. Tell them it's going to look exactly like this, but with your 4 unique characters in there.
Yeah. We do name and location, and sometimes a year.
Yeah.
This guy that reached out to us wanted like another 2 things customized, and I was like, I will have to create this design. But that's why, because he said he's going to order quite a few. I was like, all right, fine, maybe,
Right.
but usually no, it's just not. Well, I mean, for some it is worth it. I mean, if you're getting no sales and someone's going to buy something from you, even $20, yeah. I mean, if you're not making any money, your time's not necessarily worth a lot. So take anything you can get. But if it's like you're getting lots of orders in, you don't want to start accepting orders that are like madly time consuming.
Yeah, I would definitely try to automate as much as you can of that. To Steve's point down there, why aren't you using a personalization app? If you get good at selling any kind of personalization or customizable products, you'll understand what it means to start dreading those orders when they come in. If you haven't built a plan or got, to Jimmy's point, people ready to create those designs.
Yeah. I mean, to answer Stephen's questions, I'm not using a personalization app because they can't do what my designs are. So I was going to start using Hello Custom. I spoke to Stephen about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, we need to change a couple of things to be able to do that." But basically, the designs that we have personalized, it involves a certain editing that I don't know how to explain this, but it involves certain editing that an automation tool wouldn't be able to do. We have to put it in ourselves. But yeah, I mean, I would love to be using personalization apps. They don't work for our designs.
Okay.
Are any of you Amazon guys doing the whatever the Hello Custom like personalization integration? Are you guys any of y'all doing that?
I want to start. I haven't started yet, to be honest, but it's on my list for sure. I know it's kind of late already.
Just started listing stuff based on my Amazon merch bestsellers, starting there, and then my Etsy bestsellers, but haven't implemented the Hello Custom integration, but it works great on Etsy. So we'll be looking at that.
That's through Seller Central, right? That integration.
Amazon Printify.
Yeah.
Which again, if you're not getting accepted to Amazon merch, but you can afford the monthly fees, it's worth the $40 to get on Amazon Seller Central, at least if that's the market you really want to sell on.
Yeah, it's another new option that I keep forgetting about. But if you can't get into Amazon merch, or if you don't want to do Etsy, Shopify, it is another option with big potential, right? You are on the Amazon Marketplace. You can now offer personalized stuff as well.
There are caveats, like you have a 30-day return window. There are things that that aren't super seller friendly, but it is also the biggest marketplace.
Yeah. We also had an interesting comment before from Carla. Thanks for this suggestion. You should offer charities during these live calls. And I've thought about this before, because you can somehow
fundraiser.
Like do a fundraiser, and then because we're getting so many comments or questions, I think if someone donates, then that comment would be highlighted, and we'll definitely go through that question. Right? It kind of has an incentive for people to donate to the charity. Wonder what you guys think about that.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah,
great idea.
All over it.
Just gotta pick
one.
one, right?
I'll have a look into how that all works. We're setting it up. But yeah, thanks for that suggestion, Carla. I think that'd be cool if we can get it work. Charity for what? I don't know for what yet.
We'd have to pick one, yeah.
I think YouTube.
You could have everybody pick a charity, and like everybody we have one charity and like rotate each thing or something.
That's a good idea.
Maybe you could like even do where like if somebody, I don't know, like donates $1 to a charity, they get like their question answered live or something, to kind of make it incentive, but it's all in good faith to just raise some money. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, we'll try and set something up like that. If it works, offer a poll for each
call. Wow, a lot of good ideas.
Call. Suggest a charity.
Yeah.
In the call. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. I keep forgetting about these polls as well. We can do a poll in these live streams, which is quite fun. Like, where are you selling and whatnot. Anyway, I think that's been over 2 hours. Thanks for everyone joining in again. Thanks for all the good questions. Sorry if we didn't get to yours, because there was a lot more people this time. And thanks to you guys as well for joining. Thanks for joining late, Shimmy. It was fun to have you on. I think people enjoyed your appearance.
Surprise.
Good fun.
You should come back.
I will try and come back to these and be on time next time. But again, no promises.
To be honest, like, it doesn't really matter when you join. I don't mind if people join late or have to drop off early, like Chris did. It doesn't matter. It's an open thing. But happy Q4 sales to everyone.
Yeah.
Hope you'll do well, and we'll be back in like a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, the latest. So yeah, we'll see you later.
All right. See you guys.
You guys.
Thanks for joining.